Thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's morning briefing.
A major assassination attempt has just been made in the Gaza Strip. The security chief of Hamas is now recovering in the hospital after a car bomb nearly took his life. Hamas officials were quick to blame Israel for the attack, but after reviewing the incident, they now believe the Islamic State is responsible. Many believe this failed attempt on Tawfiq Abu Naim's life exposes the tensions boiling between Palestinian factions at the moment, amidst intense negotiations for a Palestinian unity government. One of the deal's points requires Hamas to lead the charge in eliminating ISIS insurgencies around the Gaza-Egypt border, an effort personally headed by Abu Naim himself, the head of Hamas's security forces in the Strip. But that didn't stop Hamas officials from immediately blaming Israel for the would-be assassination. Less than 24 hours after investigating the evidence, however, sources now agree the Islamic State is behind the incident, and this attack comes mere weeks before Hamas is set to turn over full control of the Strip to the PA's Fatah party. But with many of the biggest deal points still undecided, negotiations clearly have many obstacles still to overcome. Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman is today proposing a major addition to the policy of demolishing terrorists' homes. Posting to Facebook, Lieberman said Israel should extend that punishment to Palestinian terrorists who only manage to injure their victims, as well as for those who successfully murder someone. He said, quote, "There's no difference between an attack that ends in murder and an attack that ends in serious injury. In both cases, the homes of the terrorist must be destroyed. The fight against terror requires that we be steadfast and operate in different ways and with a mighty hand against those who try to harm us," end quote. Demolishing the homes of Palestinian terrorists has been a deterrence tool of the Israeli government for several years, since its reintroduction in 2014. Critics decry it as collective punishment, but the government views it as an effective policy to ward off would-be attackers in the future. Lieberman thinks it doesn't go far enough, and would be far more effective if homes were still on the line regardless of the success of the attack. Lieberman, in fact, has long been attempting to introduce stricter punishments for terrorists. Legislation he's supported in the past includes the death penalty as well. Speaking of attacks, 3 Arab residents of the town of Turan are suspected of attacking an Egged bus last Friday as it drove on its normal route towards Tel Aviv. The suspects are charged with attacking the bus using crowbars and a hammer after an alleged argument over right-of-way broke out. According to the bus driver, 77-year-old Shlomi Madar, the suspects tried to overtake him on the highway but were blocked by a bus up ahead. He then recounts how they later got ahead of him, stopped, and broke his windshield wiper with a water bottle. That's when Madar started to record the events that were about to unfold. The 3 suspects stopped the bus again to throw a coffee thermos with hot coffee at the windshield. Finally, the assailants came again at a red light to block the road, exited their vehicle, and smashed the bus's headlights and door with their weapons. Thankfully, before the situation could go on any further, 2 Golani soldiers who were aboard the bus got off and cocked their weapons at the attackers. The assailants promptly fled and escaped into the nearby village. Police have begun an investigation into the incident, saying, quote, "The Israel police considers the incident to be very grave. The video showed hoodlums blocking the bus's route and damaging it. An investigation uncovered the suspects' identities, and they will be located and arrested," end quote. The Israeli non-governmental organization Innovation Africa was founded in 2008 and since its inception has delivered electricity, clean water, food, and medical services to millions of people throughout Africa. Well, now they've got one more reason to celebrate. After joining forces with UNICEF of Cameroon, the non-profit NGO has been able to bring sustainable changes to the people of the war-torn Central African Republic. CEO and founder of Innovation Africa, Sivan Yari, said, quote, "A decision was made to partner together to provide solar power for 3 medical centers, enabling them to treat patients at nighttime and to refrigerate medications and vaccines. In addition, the partnership would implement a solar-powered clean water project in rural villages in the eastern region, in which Israeli technologies enable clean water from underground aquifers to be pumped to the villages," end quote. Therefore, it's no exaggeration when the humanitarian CEO proclaimed that, quote, "As of this week, this collaboration is improving the daily lives and futures of tens of thousands of refugees of conflicts in Africa," end quote. Just another example of Israel's philanthropic efforts around the world. Israel dominated at the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam Judo tournament this weekend, nabbing 5 medals throughout the competition. But celebrations were more than a little dampered when the United Arab Emirates Judo Federation refused to play the Israeli national anthem during the medal ceremony, or even allow the Israeli flag anywhere at the event. This is unfortunately a familiar story for Israeli athletes though, especially in the arena of judo. Last year at the Summer Olympics, an Egyptian athlete infamously and publicly refused to shake hands with his Israeli competitor Or Sasson. Sasson faced similar discrimination at this year's tournament as well, as he stood on the podium to receive his bronze without a trace of the Israeli flag anywhere on his uniform. But one of the biggest snubs was when Tal Flicker took gold at the men's under 66 kilogram category, and the event organizers refused to play Israel's national anthem as he accepted his medal. Among the other medal winners for the Israeli team are Tohar Boutboul, who was denied a handshake from his opponent from the United Arab Emirates. Presidents of the United Arab Emirates Judo Federation have publicly apologized for the discriminatory treatment at this year's games and promised to allow the Israeli flag and anthem for next year. For many, however, this apology comes far too late to make up for the poor hospitality. The saving grace from the tournament was that at least Tal Flicker could be seen singing the Israeli anthem Hatikva as the IJF anthem played instead. All that despite the discriminatory protestations.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.